Yeah, well, today we've got
Rocky Ward on the show from one of the well-known Irish traveller families from Moss Side many years ago. Maybe they've split out of Moss Side a little bit these days, but they were prevalent back in the day. There was one of the first Irish families, traveller families in the Manchester region, even, weren't you?
Well, what was, we pulled there in caravans first.
Yeah.
Because in the 70s and the 60s, Moss Side and Human was getting knocked down. The concrete jungle of flats, as we used to call it. We used to live all around these areas in camps. But the council wouldn't make a site. So what they would do to you them days as a traveller, they said, look, there's a house there. You can live in that. You know what I mean? So the very first time I ever remember moving into the house, I was about 5, 6.
Okay.
I started school, my first day in school. I went into school, I had a fight. I busted the kids' nose.
Is that because they were trying to take the mickey or something?
Gave the teachers a lot of grief.
And
walked out. I was only 5 or 6.
But can I ask you, Rocky, before that, what was you do? Was you homeschooled or something? Or
No, never homeschooled. We were travellers. This is the way we were brought up. We, from a young age, teach our kids how to work, show them how to do all different kind of work, roofing, building, groundwork, landscaping. We give them an opportunity. You can go and work, or you can go the opposite road. You can take the wide road is to destruction, which I took. My kids, thank God, are on the narrow road. You know them. The boxers, they've never been arrested. Me, I've done a 14-year jail sentence. I'm 45. I've done 20 years of my life in prison. I've done prison in Holland, in Germany. I've done nearly every prison in England. And like a lot of prisoners, they moved me. They wouldn't settle me, you know what I mean? My life began in Moss Side. My life began in Moss Side. Every day.
How big was your family at that time?
My family were proper close. I had 8 brothers. I've got 7 sisters. 3 of my sisters passed away before I was born. One of my brothers got shot dead at a funeral. He got shot in the back. It was a traveller feud.
Where was this in over here?
This happened in Ireland. But we buried, when our family died here, we buried him in Galway, Mount Bellew in Ireland. That's where I'm from. So we're classed as the Mount Bellew wards from Moss Side. So, going from there, my childhood was violence from day one, because my dad was a boxer and all my brothers boxed, So, and we had a big family. So everything was always settled with a straightener. Or if the other family didn't want to have it like that, it was settled with non-trail. But before you ask me a question, I'm going to be totally honest here. Every time we had an argument, we always had black friends, African, Caribbean friends, with us, because we were from Moss Side, so we always had a big firm. That was just the way it was. And that's why other travellers didn't kind of mess with us. Like a lot of travellers in Manchester, they've all got mates. They've all got their own mates, but we were right here. So this is where our roots begin. This is where my roots begin, my brothers. This is where we all started.
So, how was it like? You grew up in Moss Side. How was it like growing up with like Jamaican people?
It was great because the only people that we could communicate with and that lived like us and ate out of one pot like we did. And nearly every black man likes a Guinness every now and then. Comes from my country, Ireland. So remember that one, I think personally, and I was chatting to the boys earlier on about it, and they used to put us and yous together because they knew we could gel together. We could click. You get what I'm trying to say?
Let me just say, just to like everyone gets the point, because it's a well-known thing that it was always no blacks, no Irish, no dogs.
No dogs.
Yeah, and that kind of set the state of the time.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it as a kid, and it felt so disgusting. And then I remember seeing it as a teenager, and then the pubs I did see it on, I wasn't very happy with the owners, if you get what I mean. So, like, that's just the way it went, you know. Them signs came down, like, you know. When people started to realise they couldn't put them signs up, they came down.
Times
I
changed,
remember them signs, and
that just kind of brought out, because that distinguishes, like,
that
we're
was
going through the same,
Irish, blacks and dogs.
they put it.
You compare us to dogs, literally. You compare Irish people and black people to dogs.
They were basically
Simply, a dog can be your pet, or you can have a pit bull, which you have fighting. But you can have a pet for a dog. Do you understand? But we're not dogs, we're human beings. So that was totally bang out of order. That went in the, that was going, I'm not going to bullshit you, that was going from, I can remember that still going in the 80s.
Is it? Yeah.
85, 86. When I was 10,
maybe
11, 13.
Places, maybe.
Like I was born in 79 or 45.
Okay.
Yeah? So I was reared up in the 80s in my side.
80s child.
And the 90s. Yeah? I only moved out of there. I still live in Greater Manchester. It doesn't matter where I live, but I still live in Greater Manchester. Whoever knows me knows where I live. Come and have a cup of tea with me any day of the week.
I can see his house is always open.
Always open. He knows that. My house is always open.
What was it like?
And food.
Yeah. What was it like with the police, with the travellers?
I'll tell you what the police were with the travellers. They were even worse with us than they were with yous.
Why?
Because the word, the N-word, you can't say that, but you can still call us pikeys or jippos. And you're my mate, if you say, oh, you jippo this and a jippo that, that's not a problem. But if a total stranger, a policeman, calls you a pikey or a gypsy, you know what I mean? You can't do that. That's like me calling you the N-word, which I wouldn't say. You know what I mean? But like me and you's having a laugh, I can say that to you. Because we're, as you say, we're bred
no maliciousness behind it.
There's no malice.
Some people might disagree, but there was no malice behind it. And
you got to understand this, We were brought up in the exact same way as you. We were hated. But the only thing that has changed, it's still going on in our community. Like there was marches in Manchester Town Centre not long ago about travelling kids getting bought on trains. It was all over the Manchester Evening News. It was all over the national news. It was sticking 13 and 14-year-olds and 12-year-old kids who meet up in Manchester. Travellers a community, and this is how it works. They'll have a meeting up point, where the parents will drop them off, have some food, let the kids walk around, mingle together, because we're all separated now. It's not like years ago, where we'd all be staying in one campsite. There'd be 10 campsites in my side. And you'd have this family there, that family there, or then you might have one big one where everybody was there. And them days everybody got on together. There might be a fight every morning, a straightener. But that was it.
After that straightener's everything put to bed.
Then when we started getting older, things started to change. If you get what I'm saying. Life wasn't the same. You know? I went to a funeral in Ireland. With my brother. We were having some arguments. I mentioned this a minute ago. This is when life started to change. I was only 16. And I was already streetwise, and I was already used to the street and used to everything that came with it. And I was used to racism and people not wanting you around them because the minute they hear your voice, they hear that you're a traveller, they don't want to know you. It even happened to me and my wife. I'll tell you that in a minute. Let me finish this one story about my brother. Travelled to Ireland with him, to the funeral.
Yeah.
He landed to the funeral before us. We had a big firm with us. The other guys had a big firm.
Yeah.
And he landed there before us.
Yeah.
And he drove in and he got out, him and my dad, and he said, look, you can't be sort this argument out. Have a bare-knuckle fight each, as it's called now, but we call it a fair go, yeah? One to one. No kicking, no biting, none of that. I'm not a boxer, but I went to Phil Martin's boxing club when I was 6 years old. I was kicked in the door. I was always a bit chubby, you know what I mean? But my brothers, they were good boxers. And I won't mention their names because maybe they wouldn't want me to mention their names. Anybody that knows me knows who my brothers are. I'm the youngest out of 15 kids. So I was a baby in the family. So my brothers were always there for me. So any argument I ever got into, they dealt with it. And I dealt with it with them from being a very young age. But we went to Ireland and that was one thing that we couldn't stop or we couldn't take back losing your brother getting shot. So revenge is a bad thing, but revenge happens in life. I won't go no further about that department, but it happens and it doesn't make you better, it doesn't make you feel like, it doesn't bring nobody back from it. I am actually Christian.
Do you think revenge makes people feel better?
No. Revenge only brings everything back to you. Revenge, no matter what no matter if you have an argument with a guy in a pub, the next morning, if he's your best mate, and he's insulted you or your wife or your family, you go knock on his door the next morning. That's where we are. Whether you can fight or not, you've got to go out and have a fight.
You've got to do it.
You've got to.
It's a good way, innit?
Win or lose, you're still a man.
And no one's dead.
It's not bravado. It's just part of our culture.
What? So tell me this. Break this down. Like what? So does it just say? What is it? So this is a dispute happens between two families. What's the procedure? What the procedure? Or what would you do?
Right. The procedure is normally the head of my family and the head of the other family. If we know one another and we know we can settle it without going the whole 9 yards, we try that. If it can't be settled that way, it's settled it other ways. Simple as.
But what is the way?
Talking shit.
What is the like? So if you disappear in a straightener, what would happen? Tell me a
scenario. Being a straightener would be say me and you had an argument. He's my mate. He'd take me and he's your mate. So I would trust him and you would trust him. We'd get in a car with him. We'd go to the park. We'd strip off and we'd have a go. And whoever's lost, whoever wins, you shake hands afterwards, end of.
And it's how it works,
all the arguments put to bed. But this can happen also. I've got family in London. Now, if they have an argument with another travelling family in London, that other travelling family might have family here. So I'm in Manchester, my family's arguing in London with his family, but they got family here. So that can cause an argument in Manchester
as well,
or wherever my family. I've got family in Bristol, in Birmingham, in Leicester. I've got family all over London, Leytonstone, Wood Green. I've got family all over England, the whole of the UK and Scotland. I've got family in Holland and Belgium.
Well, so listen to this though. So because we're talking now, innit? So even just like you just coming to having to speak to what's his friend?
Coming to speak to me, I had to speak to somebody belonging to me, the leader of the Packers, you say, I had to speak to him and I asked him and I said, I'm going to be totally no hold barred and bullshit. I said, I got a mate of mine that said, you know who he is? I said, Kitty said from the Moss, I said, he knows you, you know who I'm on about. I said, he wants me to do a podcast with him, I said, I'm not really used to these podcasts, guys, so don't get me wrong, if I slip up, I'm not going to slip up, believe me. I'm a bit too fast for that one. So I rang up our kid and he said, go and do it, man. He said, why not? He said, we're part of Moss Side. He said, Moss Side's in our genes. It's in my blood. Moss Side is in there. I might be an Irishman, but I was born in St. Mary's Hospital.
Yeah, no, your family's from Moss Side.
A mile away. And I was way here.
Before some people were here, now
you know, I class myself from Moss Side. People say to me, who are you? I'm one of the wards from Moss Side. We are actually called Mount Belly wards from Galway in Ireland. But people ask me in England, they say, who are you? I'll say, I'm on the Mount Belly wards from Moss Side. That's the exact way I would break it down with other travellers.
And they'll know straight away.
But half of them will turn around and come the minute they hear the name.
Is it okay?
They think that we're bad people, but we're not. We're gentlemen.
But you've got a legacy, haven't you?
You know, of course we have a legacy.
Listen, obviously we're getting to the age, we're getting older now, innit?
I'm 45.
Yeah, you're getting older.
You're trying to go, I'm a granddad.
You're getting old,
my granddad brother.
So how do you keep, like, you got your sons, you got all that.
My sons have never been arrested or in trouble in their life.
But how do you keep the Irish tradition, the travelling traditions? How do you keep the tradition still?
I'll tell you exactly.
Down to the younger generation.
I'll tell you exactly how we carry on. We have fairs, we have Appleby, we have all other fairs up and down, Stone Fair. We have missions for Christian people, born again Christians. He knows my wife and all the family are all born again. I'm born again Christian now. I got baptized, I'm not going to lie. I'm a born again Christian and I love Jesus and that is it, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it. He changed my life. He took all that shit away from me. And by me, like the last jail sentence I done was a 14-year jail sentence. I done 7 years. So my kids from being, I've got 3 sons. Rocky is the youngest, you know him. He's another me. So blondie, bowels, boy.
To be honest,
he's a good kid though, he's manly. They love you, you know that. Then I've got Michael,
and the girls,
and he's big, tall lad, 6'3", he's making a good man. I've got another son, Martin James, which is a boxer. He's won 4 gold medals for England.
He didn't nearly tell that.
Won 4 gold medals. He won fights and box cups. He won them blatantly because another award, because a couple of awards were having fights on the same day and he won. He won it twice, and the third time he went, he won the fight, but he couldn't give it because he said, like, it's Manchester, we can't give all the awards, all these medals. You know what I mean? We've got to give some other traveller medals as well. Because there is lots of boxers. Like, my mum was McDonough. My grandmother was Joyce. So I got Ward, Joyce and McDonough in me. His grandmother was Joyce, Maggie Joyce. There's a man called Big Joe Joyce. If you ever look on the internet, he's a famous travelling man.
How old is he?
He's 60, 70.
Big old Joe
Big Joe Joyce, He was a hard man here. Believe me, that man
you can still have a go with it.
He's a gentleman. You can go to look at him on the videos.
He looks scary, man.
He's a scary looking guy. But he's gentleman.
Is it still the same now? Have you still
Our tradition have not changed.
So have you still got bare-knuckle fighters in the community
every
that
day.
have got a
I've
name
got
and everyone
nephews,
knows
families,
them?
cousins,
And so if you put them forward as a champion,
always. If my family's having an argument with another travelling family, we'll pick out the best boxers, obviously. You know what I mean? Of outside, and they'll do the same. You know what I mean?
Is it like, what is it?
It's like a lottery thing.
Lock, stock and smoky barrels. Is it like, did the gypsies hold the knuckle fight as a high regard?
We are the first people to ever start that. That comes from us. Bare knuckle boxing. It's bred into our genes. I was never.
You have the youngsters fighting from a young age.
Like I told you, I used to get kicked in for the man. For the man hated me that much, but he got to like me. He used to put me in, man, when I was 6 or 7, with a 13 or 14-year-old black kid. And you guys are naturally bigger than us, Little white, little Irish. No, maybe not the Irish, Maybe not me. I forgot them, but I got a bit of a belly, I lost 2 stone in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
just to let everyone know I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back for action.
Easy.
Frankie, but I'm saying, yeah, like you know, in the Irish community, is a knuckle like the knuckle fight? Is it, you know, that the fight? Is it
Tradition.
you know, is he classed as a
Yeah, you have a king.
Is he king?
You have a king,
Right.
yeah, and there was only ever one king, crown king, and his name was Lawrence Ward.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was the king. King
people
Ward.
look these
And
up
you can
there?
Google him
Yeah,
up here
yeah.
now, yeah, and you can Google him up.
Let's have a look.
His name was Lawrence Ward, yeah.
Okay, Lawrence
the old
Ward.
Ward. Yeah, Lawrence Ward, the king.
While you're doing all that, yeah,
Yeah.
the siege, yeah.
Yeah, this is.
How do you spell Lawrence? A-L-A-R.
I'm not a great speller,
I'll
but I
figure it
never
out.
went to school that much. I told you, I used to get shit kicked out me by the teachers.
What?
Never mind the pupils.
What was one of the best advices that your dad ever gave to you?
Best advice my dad ever gave to me.
I was travelling.
Never take shit off any man.
Can I show it the camera? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah. Lawrence Ward, there he is.
This
There's
one,
the
check
picture
this
of him.
out. Yeah.
King Ward.
Bring it forward, innit?
Bring it forward.
I don't tell lies, you know.
Can you see that?
I'm not here to tell
So
lies.
you can find it for yourself, guys, on there.
Have a look, Google up Mount Benny Wards, and it'll show you a lot of videos. Probably ones you don't want to see, but it'll Google up a lot of videos, and it'll probably show you a lot of arguments and show you how big firms are. But there are a lot of big firms in Manchester. You've got a lot of big firms. I don't want to mention people's names because it's not. It would could cause arguments. Me mentioning another family's name. But there are a lot of families. But at the present moment, Manchester's peaceful. There's no shit going on in it. Travellers are getting on now at one level. A couple of years back, as you know yourself, there was a lot of trouble going on. But everything's quieting down now. It's gone. It's in the past. I don't look behind me. I look forward. And I think about today. I don't think about tomorrow, because tomorrow ain't promised.
But you know what, Rocky? When it does go out of hand like that, it can go off big.
When it goes out of hand, it goes nasty.
It can go
really bad. You know why? There's too many of us. There's too many of us.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people don't know about the
travelling, because we're very tight in the community. But the only people that know more about us are black people. You know about us. You know about my family, about my culture. You've known about it for years. You know what I mean? And I think any man in here would have heard of our family name, Any man in this room would have heard about you. This man knows me years. You know me years. I've always been a gentleman, but when it kicks off naughty, it gets naughty.
So what? Sorry, but
very naughty.
So as a dispute, does the men have an obligation to get involved?
It can be just an argument. At a wedding or a funeral or at a christening or whatever, between two women. And that can cause somebody's death.
Okay.
It's as easy as that.
So when it comes
my
to the
brother's
women...
dead over an argument at a wedding.
So when it
I'll
comes
leave it there. In that department, But yes,
if it comes to the women, they're very, very protective.
Very protective. Women are listen, this is not feminist. They're travelling women. This is part of their culture. They don't want nothing else. We're men. We're
no one can dish our culture,
supposed to look after our women, and our kids. My lad got married when he was 18.
Okay,
I'm a granddad now, As soon as he turned 18, he got married, started forgetting about his boxing and that now. He's staying with her parents because she was having a baby. And in our culture, we believe when a girl is having a baby, she goes and stays with her mum. He's coming back to me soon though, help her God, come back, bro. Daddy needs you home, G. He's stressing me out now. Might you give you one of them ones? Matt, you know what I'm talking about, man, James. Come home. Anyway, hit me with another one. Come on, mate, I'm ready. I'm in the mood.
We've got a few, but we've been through the significance of your in your community, like weddings and big dues. What you said, you all meet up. So
we all still have a sport culture that we have. That's still there. It will never go there. The government, the rules, whoever the rules, they will never take our culture away.
I wanted to ask you, what could you tell us, like, any misconceptions like the public might have about travellers?
They hate us.
Yeah.
They discuss travellers.
But why?
All they think.
Why? Who's giving them this information?
I'll tell you why. Because travellers were blocked from community. Yeah. They had no other. Half of them had no other ways but to go and graft.
Because
and
you're
get a few
travellers
quid.
and you travel. And
Simple
that,
as. We had no opportunities as kids. Right. I'll put this into a nutshell. This, when I was a kid in St Edward's School, this was my classroom. Half the size of this studio, right? I'm not joking, it was a stationary room. Whether you were 3, 4, 9, 10, we had our own class. We were separated from the rest of the school. Why was that? Why?
Well, now we know it's discrimination.
That was going on into the late 80s, into the 90s.
Just pure discrimination, isn't it?
Proper, you put like a 10-year-old in with a 4-year-old. They're on different levels of education. You get what I'm saying?
It's disgusting.
I'm sorry to say, but it's fucking rough.
That brings me on to, like, leads on to...
Pardon my French people.
What challenges do you think you face now and in the future? What challenges do you still feel a lot of pushback from government, from police?
No, since I become...
More acceptable?
Since I become of age, and since I become a man, I don't give a shit what they think of me.
Okay, so you don't not even bothered.
Let them hate. Let the haters hate. They're always going to hate. They don't hate me, they're going to hate. Immigrants are going to hate. Black people are going to hate us. We've always been hated. Simple as. There's neo-Nazis and there's that many left or fucking right parties. Sorry. In this country that hate our classes. Hitler classed travellers lower than rats. He hated Jews. Classed them dirt. But he classed us even lower. Now, in the Holocaust, it says 6 million Jews died. 3 or 4 million gypsies died. You can also Google that up, anybody. Google it up. It's all there on the internet. Anybody wants to read it. The first, some of the first, I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you how travellers were treated. The first slaves, now, a lot of people don't know this. Some of the first slaves ever arrived in America, were brought by the English and brought by the slave traders, were travellers, not Irish. Irish travellers and gypsies. That's why I've got family in America, I've got family in Australia. Do you understand? I've got family all over the world. I've got uncle who lives in Australia, I've got sister in Canada. I've got family everywhere. We just don't travel England, we travel the globe. Do you understand? We get about. We're diplomas. Proud of it.
Do you think?
But I ain't a pikey, man, and don't call me one in public.
What's that?
Pikey is a word. It's a Cockney word. It comes from the Cockneys. They call gypsies and travellers pikeys. A pike is a fish. It's the dirtiest fish in the sea.
Is that where it comes from?
It'll eat a rat. It'll eat anything. So we are dirtier than rats.
So that's where that comes from.
That's where that pike comes from.
Okay.
Pike fish. You can Google that up as well if you want to.
No, believe you.
We've always got. Still to this day. Right. Sunday, left church, feeling great, felt powered. Feeling great. Went to the gym that morning before. I've lost 2 stone and I needed to lose it because I was getting too heavy. Anyway, I'm at TGI Fridays in Trafford Centre. Sorry about this, but I've got to speak the truth. I'm not here to talk shit or tell lies. Me and my wife are the first people in a queue of at least 25 people. The guy at where you're walking in says, go to the bar if you want and I'll get you a table. So I'm standing there. And all these people behind me, we're the first one, me and my little lad, he's only 10, He said, Daddy, where's the table? I said, Rocky, I said, wait for the man to come over now. My blood is starting to boil a bit now. I'm starting to get angry, So he's seeing everyone, we're still standing there. So he come over. I said, who's the boss? He said, I am. I said, either you're racist or he's a proper fucking monk. Yeah? I said, one or the other. I said, which one is it? Tell me. Well, I'm not racist. I said, so your mate's a monk then, isn't he? She said, why? I said, because I'm the first man, I said, standing there. I said, knew that. I know you come over then. Oh, we don't want you in here. Get out of here. This is 2 days ago. Still
They told you to
racing.
come out. They told you to
Go out. We don't want you in here. Why didn't I have it? I had fucking uproars with him. Yeah, of course I did. I'm not going to hang man fucking with my wife and my kids there, man. No way, man. I'd rather get that to the head. Gone, good night, Irene. Go to bed forever.
It's like a bit, Rocky. It's like
and that's how I get upset when I talk about that.
We're just talking about that. The energy change, so you can tell it fucking upset you. Do you know what it is? It must be like, like say a black person walks into a bar in a white area. Yeah. And then they'll might get some looks, and they might. Most people are racist, but some
will not get it as bad as us.
But you get it when you open your mouth and they hear you talk, like you said,
Can't say to you.
Yeah, but you can't say. But you still, even though you'll feel the vibe change, you still can't say. I can't argue back with him.
I'm getting arrested. Then I might give him a box. Yeah, I'll give him a bitch slap. That's what he was, a bitch. Yeah, sorry. But he was a proper bitch. So that's what he would have got, a slap. Yeah? But I didn't. Hold my temper back. And my wife and my kids were there.
That's another thing, you don't have to get dropped in a van, in a police van in front of your family.
No way, man. No way, man. I'm listen, I've gone past that stage, man. But listen, peace out, people.
Wait.
I know. What I was going to say to you,
I told you I'd slip up once.
Listen. So, anyways, what I was going to say to you, if you could go back to your younger self, yeah. We always like to ask this question. If you could go back in time and give some advice to your younger self, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I wouldn't change a thing. Not one fucking thing, mate. What side moulded me, and moulded me into the human being I am, me and my family. Why would I change it? I tell you what I would take back. Obviously, with my brother. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can't take that back. Apart from the rest of it, and getting caught a few times. I would take that back if I could, but that's life, isn't it? Part of occupational hazard, as you call it.
I think on that note,
I've got a question that I wanted to ask. Is there any black travellers?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. Because
loads of black, loads of half-caste mixed race. Yes, loads. I've got cousins.
Are they involved in the community?
Yes, of course, man. It's been proper Irish, man.
Cool. But I'm saying, Rocky, now, obviously now, I was just saying that, I'm not being funny or nothing. I just say I see a nice Irish travelling girl, I want to be with her. No, listen, bro. So I'm saying, forget it. I'll go to the diner, I'll say, you know what, I'll move on the campsite. I ain't doing no fighting. I don't want to do no fighting, but I'll go on the campsite, I'll live your way and all that, Would it be accepted?
Obviously, if you ended up with a problem woman, she was with you, and her family said, look, together now, there's nothing we can do about it. Obviously, you'd be accepted.
Yeah, but you'd have to act correct.
Listen, if you end up with a bird and you move in with her, her family's got to accept you. I'm not going to lie to you. Well, I've got nephews and nieces who are black.
Well, imagine to say to you, you got this man say, man, but you got to have a straightener, innit?
No,
have a straightener,
innit?
Having a straightener.
Probably if that's a roof, maybe he's soft. Maybe he's soft. You don't want to have a straightener.
Check this out. I would just like to say, I feel like, just going back to the fighting, I think they've got it sus, man. You know, these straighteners. And can you imagine with people? Imagine we've done that in our community.
Pride.
Imagine if rather than having knives and guns, if people were brave enough to say, all right, let's have a straightener.
There won't be many though.
There won't be many, but I've heard people talking about it. We're going to move forward.
No, boys, listen, hold up for a minute here,
Yeah.
I know everyone there, and I don't want to mention names. I'm not like that. But you know all the boxers. Well, I mentioned trainers' names: Morris, Ainsley, Mario, Jason, all them boys. I've seen them having straighteners. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah, back
with
in the
one
day,
another. I've seen them boys settling arguments with straighteners. So yeah,
Because they were confident.
because they can box.
Listen to this though, yeah. One time, yeah, because we're gonna wrap it up now, yeah. You listen to this show one time.
He's laughing,
Remember one time we was at
Madman.
one time we was at the hacienda and thinking we're not gonna mention his name, but the guy that used to be on the door, the big guy, and then we used to go in and say we'd have the hotel, but like you're not getting in tonight.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Bring any of your lads from our side. The only one that can fight, yeah.
He's dead and gone now, isn't he?
He's the only one that can fight him offside that was good at fighting.
He's dead and gone, the same man. Yeah, he got killed in an accident. I know what you're talking about before you even mention the name.
Man, it's good having you on the show. We're going to get you back.
You know what, boys? Listen, I just wanted to come here and give my word on how grateful it was of your support when we were in trouble. Yeah, and I thank you all. I thank all the boys. They always took up for me.
Rocky, if I've ever phoned you, I've not had to do it for many years,
I died for you.
But I phoned you in the past and you've been there.
You're like a brother to me. I would.
No, we know that, Rocky, man. We know that, man.
God bless you, boys.
God bless you, man. Nice one coming on, man. Yeah.